Sorcery.
60 cents.
This is bad.
Oh, does it? The what did?
I shot it at Roman candle once.
It did happen.
Good morning. Good morning. I can't even look at myself with these things on. I don't know if I can look at myself with them up there. But my wife gave me these today. Said I had to wear them on the live. I think
Without that, it's worse.
All right, Gordon. Good morning. Merry almost Christmas. Yes, you need screenshots of this stuff. I'm sure I'll put them back on later, but I can't leave those on the whole time, for sure. Good morning. Good morning. So we have a couple of special guests here with us that we'll introduce here in just a few minutes, which are currently distracting our late Liz from joining us on the broadcast this morning. So, welcome to Monday. So we're going to talk about a couple of things this morning, and we'll talk about some Christmas stuff, because Christmas is coming up in when's Christmas? Like 3 or 4 weeks from now or something, right?
2 days?
Is it? Oh, it's 2 days. Oh, it's 2 days from now. Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me and probably on some of you as well. It seems insane to me that Christmas is 2 days away. So come in and get those last minute gifts. Maybe you're getting a class for somebody or some private lessons or some stuff. We talked about this a week or two back, that maybe buying a gun isn't the best idea to buy for somebody unless they say, hey, this is the one that I want. Then you could get that one. Typically, it's best just to come in and get them a gift card so they can come in and go through the process and figure out a gun on their own to figure out what works best for them. So, all right, Elizabeth, let's go.
I'm having great conversations.
You have to get over here.
Late Liz is late, and she's already here.
Vinny hasn't introduced his.
I know, we're gonna get there in just a minute. So, for the importance of this occasion, I have a very special mug with me today. Come here, Vincent.
Hi.
Give me your face. Where's a little Vin? He's so cute. He's a little Vin. So, Vinny, this is...
What?
Get in here.
Okay.
You're going to eat food on the live. Yeah, we got to get in our proper positions. We are all goofed up this morning. This is very strange. No,
well, that's just
it's
what
backwards to you.
Comment section.
So, and I completely lost my train of thought. I don't even know what the hell I was going to say now.
Something about Liz doing something.
Oh, well, yeah.
Making me eat in front of everybody.
She's got to eat in front of everybody because she's taking her freaking sweet time.
It's because we were telling stories.
We do this every Monday morning.
Wait, where's the best bite at? Or is it the whole donut? That means you have to eat the whole donut in one bite.
No!
Oh, yes. Do it.
But look, what I will do is make sure that...
If the people ask, they demand it, you gotta try to stuff that whole thing.
No.
It's half of a donut. It's not a whole donut. It's only half a donut.
There's no way.
Please.
No.
Comment down below.
That will ruin my last bite.
I was going to say I'm going to comment myself, but my phone's up there. I can't do it. Comment below if we can get like 10 people to say,
I'm almost there.
Stuff the whole donut in your face, Liz. You should do it.
That doesn't say anything. That says
stuff the whole donut in your face, Liz.
That's
not going to work.
That's the way I read that.
I'm bad at reading.
Yeah,
I know it.
Gordon says so.
Well, too bad.
So anyway, Vincent brought
I'm not eating this omelet.
What are you doing? Or Gordon said that, or sing. You can't step out of the video to take a bite of your donut. Oh, Frankie, thank you, sir.
No,
I really love this caramel
it'll
donut.
get in my beard. I'll have to take a shower in the sink.
Oh my goodness. So, Vinny brought some special guests with us. Why do you keep stepping off the camera, Elizabeth?
I did it. I forced myself.
Okay.
Bad action.
Vinny brought some special guests in with him today who also just happened to comment below on the video. So, Liz,
What?
disappear. I'm going to disappear.
Bye.
Vincent, introduce your familia.
Okay. Hi, Internet. Ma.
Ma!
Ma. Ma.
Ma, come in here!
You probably know her in the comment section. This is my mom.
Mom.
Mom's here.
Mother.
You get to see
Mom.
you get to see Mom commenting all the time
Yes.
on the videos.
This
Now
is Peggy.
you get to see Mom's a real person.
Mom Israel.
See,
No. The people need it.
No, that is not
People need it.
It's not
My genetics gave me it.
No.
that's how we sell glasses, yeah.
It's how we sell glasses. My taco meat. Okay, well that's only one family. Frankie, come here.
I was going to say
Man.
more adopted,
And
but I
he's
thought
a-
better of it in the comments.
No.
Where's his son?
Bad. This is my older brother. It's a Frankie.
Look at this face. Your mom's gonna go buy you an undershirt.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, everyone. He's really pretty. He's really nice to look at. So you know.
Trying to sell classes, all right?
I mean, look at this face. How could you not?
The beard. The beard. The everything. Look at you.
I got my mom.
He's so cute.
Thanks.
And I made it.
You're welcome, Internet. You're welcome,
I
Internet.
cooked
Oh,
it
no.
all by myself.
Now, where the hell did Elizabeth go?
Liz ran
She
off.
just ran away.
She went to go get the gunk out of her mouth.
I had to rinse the
She had to
Why are
rinse
you
off.
so
She had to rinse off.
Staring at her.
So bad.
I just have to grab my coffee here. It's not
Okay.
the same without it.
Well,
All right.
butter spot right there.
Dang it. No, that's good to be watered, but I didn't wash my mouth. Oh,
No,
it's probably donut. That's why I don't eat on the live. It says Becky.
All right. So, what are we
I
talking about
can't read
today?
it from there.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about firearm safety
Oh, yeah.
in
Okay.
general, right?
In general.
And you guys are, I don't know, we're standing in weird spots.
It's true.
So with the holiday coming up, and a lot of people getting guns for Christmas, and you know, just because, or whatever, right? Super important to stress fundamental safety. Okay, we recently were sent a news story from one of y'all about it's a tragic story of a kid who was shot and killed because him and his friends were playing with guns. And dad is trying to, I mean, I get it, his son's gone, but he's trying to blame the tool and say that because it didn't have a magazine disconnect, and we'll talk about what that means in a second, that the gun wasn't safe. And that's not true, right? Just like having we have this, I don't want to say argument, but discussion with people all the time that just because a gun has a manual safety doesn't mean that it's safe. And if you think about it that way, you're approaching fundamental safety completely wrong. That safety is not there so you don't accidentally shoot your buddy or yourself or somebody else.
Well, that's what the idea was.
Yeah, that's what the idea is, but that's not the way to think about it.
No.
Right? You think that, okay, if my kid or my brother or my wife finds the gun and tries to mess with it at all just to put it away or whatever because it's got a safety, it's safe. That's not true.
No.
It's a button. It looks like you're supposed to push it. So guess what people do? They push it. If your toddler can operate a light switch, they can operate a safety on a firearm. If they mess with Nerf guns, dart guns, BB guns, or whatever, they have safeties. They understand that, hey, if this thing doesn't do what I want it to do, I can start flipping switches until I get it to do what I want it to do.
On one hand, I really wish that people would, or that we could incorporate this into education, like our public school system. I know.
And we used
Internet, calm down.
Yeah.
But like, think of all the other things, and this is actually my point. Like, think of all the other things that we don't get training on safety-wise at school, because that's what parents are for too. And I think that having education for your children with firearms, on your own, you do it, is a great way to remove the big red button. And even if they go to somebody else's house where the gun is not secured properly the way that it should, calm your body language.
I'm trying
there.
to.
Calm your body language.
At least, you will have taught you're really distracting me. Taught your children the correct way to be around guns, meaning that they say, hey, let's not touch that, let's go away, or at the very least, they're going away, calling you or something of that nature. I have introduced firearms to my kids at fairly young ages, and, in a safe environment. And if they know that if they want to ask questions, they want to press buttons and levers and things like that, I will make a gun safe for them, and I will show them how to do that. And that way I remove the curiosity, and they know that they don't need to go behind my back and do it.
So you said remove the big red button. What does that mean?
The desire to do it when nobody's watching and when you're not going to get in trouble. They don't understand the consequences, so they don't understand that that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's intriguing. It's grabbed their attention, and they want to mess with it because I don't want to say they want to mess with it because they don't understand it, but it's a problem they want to figure out. They want to have a better understanding of it, so they pick it up and they mess with it, which in most cases is a great way to learn a thing.
Except for a gun.
Not with a firearm, right? Because the consequences are pretty high.
I mean, one day my son, he was probably 6 or 7 at the time. He got into our truck that was running in the driveway, and he pushed all the right things, and he put that thing in drive, and it started rolling down the driveway. Luckily, my husband jumped right in and was like, whoa!
I did that as a kid.
So, we all have cars, and many of us have children. So you're saying that we should, there's obviously safeties involved in there too, but it didn't stop them. And there's only so many things that you can do to where education is going to take over. So it's more about education and teaching people how to be safe with things rather than expecting all the safeties in the world to take care of it, because people are smart. Kids are smart, and they will
smarter than you think.
They will work whatever they can to make it happen. So anyway,
we talk about a lot. At least I do. That I can't read those. There's a couple of big comments there. I can't read what they are.
Workman.
It's just Workman.
It's just Workman.
No, but he does say something very important.
Yeah,
but
it's
valuable. We'll come back to that in a second. We tell people a lot, and this is I tell parents, I'm not going to tell you how to parent. I'm going to tell you what I think is best. To remove that big red button is the education, is to explain to your kids, maybe you've got a gun in the house and you don't want them to know. You don't want them to find it when you're not around and pique that curiosity. I think it's way better that the kids know, and that you sit down and explain to them what this thing is and what it is not. And that if they're curious about it, don't be afraid to ask me questions, mom questions, dad questions. We're happy to answer them. This is not some big, scary, dangerous thing that you have to say, no, you can't look at it, you can't talk about it. Because guess what they're going to try to do when you're not around? They're going to try to figure out where the hell that thing is.
Curiosity.
Yeah. I want to understand it. Inform them, give them information, give them good information, and they'll be way better off for it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course, it's our opinion.
Yeah, and I tell people, if that's not what you choose to do, that's fine. Just think about yourself as a kid and how curious you were about everything and how much you wanted to explore things, right, to try to understand them better.
So Workman says, here we go. Wait, you're telling me the public school system isn't 100% responsible for educating my kids and I have to be a parent? How dare you tell me I have to be responsible for the kids I created? I know, right?
Fair how that works.
But it's very true. A lot of times we do, put that off on the school system. Like, well, they go to school, they're supposed to learn everything they need to know. Like, there's so many things in my life that I never learned in public school that, I wish I knew sooner. So Tim says, to me, it is the number one rule of having a firearm in the house. Teach everyone how to exist safely around it. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because then when they're not in your house and something like this happens, like his son was at someone else's house, his brother's house or something. So that was where he was not there. He was not in control. We like to think we have control of our kids, but you absolutely do not. They only think you have control for a little while, and then once they realize that you don't, when they're not around you anymore, they're going to do whatever they want. Within reason. Hopefully you teach them right from wrong.
Good education.
And this is part of teaching them right from wrong and them understanding the consequences and knowing you're a safe place to come ask questions to. This can go for so many things, guys, like so many conversations. And I know these conversations can be difficult, but it's good.
Oh,
yeah.
it's. I'm sure it's a scary conversation to have, especially if you're new to it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You don't feel that your understanding is
Up to par.
yeah is deep enough
Sure.
to be able to explain it. You're not trying to teach them
How?
how to
shoot.
do anything.
Just-
You're just talking about this tool, and this is something that we have in the house, and I want you guys to be aware of it. This is not something you can touch without mom or dad. If you ever have questions about it, ask us. We'll get the tool out, and we will look at it, and we will talk about it. Do you have questions? Yes, and go.
So
Yes, ma'am.
say the way that, do you mind telling the story about when Austin discovered?
Okay, sure.
Because I think that to answer the question on why you have a gun in the house, and there's still more comments here that I want to get to in a second. So, let's read the comments
Yeah.
first, and then
Todd,
we'll get
good
to
morning, sir.
good morning, Don Fitz, David, and then oh boy, the comments are
Hard to
giving me
read,
problems
yeah,
here. Okay, so Todd says, good morning and great points on safety. About 10 years ago, Missouri State Senator Dan Brown from Rolla authored Senate Bill 77, which was a 2-page bill that would have required firearm safety education beginning in the first grade for all school students. This bill was destroyed and filibustered by 2 St. Louis legislators who turned it into a 143-page omnibus bill. I hate omnibus bills.
God,
We will
dang
keep
it.
trying. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate that. I would love to put tax dollars towards our school systems
Oh, my
for
goodness,
firearms education because they're here, and whether you like them or not, they're here. We have driver's education in school. Why can't we have firearm education as well? Teach our kids to be self-sufficient if they need to go hunting, self-sufficient if they need to defend themselves when they get old enough to. Like, all these things are important things in life. Just because that education exists doesn't mean you have to agree with it. We learn sex education too, but you could be a nun if you want to. Choose to take the information and do what you want with it. But education is good for everybody. I am learning so many things in this new book that I'm reading, and it hurts my soul because it challenges my bias. And you have to, though. That's the only way that you're going to see the world for what it is. Otherwise, you're just blah.
Bubble.
Yeah, in a bubble.
In a bubble.
Oh, Bubble Boy. I love Bubble Boy.
And squirrel.
Gordon says, I told my daughter that anytime she wanted to see our guns, she only needs to ask, and I'd show them to her. Awesome. Yeah, same here. Jason says, your opinion matters, and it's not just us. The state is trying to push that responsibility off the parents as well. Yeah, I don't want the state to take it over and say, guns are bad, guns are bad. Like, I want them to give education without a bias, not one way or the other. There was a lot of stuff I didn't learn until I went in the service, I'm sure. Oh boy. Let's see, Merry Christmas to all at the Rains. Thanks, Dennis, you too. Hi, Dad. It's a family event today. Don Fitz, do they even do driver's education in school anymore? No. I don't know. They did when I was in school, which
I did when I was there.
I graduated in 04, but...
Vinny just graduated like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So.
2012.
I don't know if my kids are in high school right now. None of them have taken it at school.
It was an elective at our school.
Yeah, it was an elective at my
But-
school
same with
too.
me.
I mean, what is our school system meant to do? To teach the youth as they get older how to be good people in society so they can operate well in society so our country functions well. Why the hell not would you teach them how to manage firearms safely and how to drive? Like, it's a privilege, I understand. Same thing with guns. But, like, especially if they can, that's one way that my oldest son, he loves shooting. And so that's one way to, like, keep him in line. Like, look, if you mess this up, you're never going to be able to shoot again. Like, you could, if you do something really bad, there goes your ability to ever shoot a gun again. So, I mean, like, that's it's a good way to keep them in line too. So you give them something to look forward to. And it can be competitive too. It's fun.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
they don't teach financial literacy either.
Oh, man, that's insanity to me. Although I do think my kids are doing something, I don't know. Anyway, so my story with my youngest. I've had conversations with all my kids about, when they hit a certain age, we'll say, 5. I don't know what the number is. It's really, it's not necessarily a number. It's really an ability to understand. I had a conversation with them that, hey, Dad carries a gun all the time. This is not to save the world or anything crazy, or not to threaten people with, to say, hey, if you're mean to me, my dad carries a gun and he's going to come get you. This is to protect myself and us as a family, and that's it. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to tell our friends. We don't need to, yada, yada, yada. I had not had that conversation with my youngest at the time, and we had just moved into our house, so he was, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years old, 3, I don't know, whatever it was. He was little, and I hadn't had that conversation with him yet. And I don't necessarily hide that I'm carrying a gun, but my gun's concealed, just like it is now, so it's hidden. I didn't think he had any idea, and one day I'm getting ready to leave the house, and he comes walking up to me with a Nerf gun stuck down the front of his pants. And I said, Austin, what are you doing, bud? He said, I'm just carrying a gun like you, Daddy. And I was like, okay. You have to understand that as a little child, you are everything, right? They are studying you, everything you do. Right? They are studying what you're doing, what you're saying, your mannerisms, all that sort of stuff. You are providing education to them. Okay? So this kid is studying everything about me. He knew I carried a gun. I didn't have to say that to him. He already knew it. So at that point, I was like, all right, it's time for us to go have a conversation. Because I didn't think he knew, but he did. So I tell that story to parents a lot, that you think your kids don't know. Then I keep touching this damn dump pouch, and I thinking I'm touching your butt. That's what I feel like I'm touching. It's weird.
They know to get the dump pouch out of the way.
Closer to
I'm touching your
Get my dump pouch out of the way.
your dump pouch.
Hey,
Your
my mom
dumper.
gave me
Junk in the trunk.
Anyway, you think that you're hiding it from the kids, but the kids are studying you. So, and they're way smarter than you give them credit for. Mm-hmm. So, education. In this story that our student had sent.
Hold on, real quick before you start on that.
Sure.
If you need a source for education, of course we're happy to help. If you want the kid to shoot, they have to be 10, whatever. But if you just want them to come in and learn some basic safety, if you have trouble articulating those things, you can set up a private lesson with us. We'd be happy to go over that with them. But the NRA also has a Eddie Eagle program that's actually kind of catchy, kind of fun. You can look up YouTube videos, and they have just a little jingle and everything, and it sticks.
It does stick.
And it's one of my favorite things that the NRA offers.
I am not the biggest fan of NRA education. No. I mean, as far as their firearm education, in most cases, it's dated. It's way dated. The Eddie the Eagle stuff, I still think is a great starting point, especially if you as a parent don't have any idea. Maybe you don't have any guns in the house, but you want your kids to have. You're smart enough to understand that some people do,
sure.
And that kids are kids and kids do dumb shit, and that you want your kid to have some basic education. That's a great way to start that.
And get a safe. If you have kids in the house, get a safe. Don't just hide it. They will find it. I promise. Don't hide it. And they can climb and do all kinds of stuff. So I know, just get a safe. They can be fairly inexpensive, and they could keep young children out for a very long time before they learn lockpicking.
What'd you say?
Before they learn lockpicking.
Before they learn lockpicking. Why don't you go through the 4 basic safety rules?
Number 1 rules, treat all guns like they're loaded. So let me go into that a little bit deeper, because that doesn't always make, of course, it's a gun. Of course I'm going to treat it like it's a gun. That is the worst possible mindset to have.
Oh my God.
And so many people come into class be like, okay, you're handing us a gun. And they're just like, come on, Liz, get to the point. Like, no, listen, you're a human freaking being. And I don't know how many times you started talking with your hands with a knife in it or whatever. Like, imagine a toddler learning how to cut anything with a pair of scissors or whatever. You're not aware of what's in your hand, and you're thinking about something else. You might start waving the gun around or dangling it and aiming it at your foot. You know, when you holster, even if you've got some experience, and you start to flag yourself as you put the gun in the holster. This mindset is a developed thing. You have to train it. It takes practice to be safe with the gun. Pick up the gun, make a gun, take a gun, pick it up, think about it.
It takes
and then
practice.
It takes practice.
People don't understand that. They think it's such an easy thing, and it's just
It's inherent. No.
Nope.
And then set it back down if you start losing focus on it. And then you can pick it up for 15 seconds the next time. Set it back down. The moment you stop concentrating on what you're doing, set the gun back down. Because you need to be so freaking muzzle aware. Muzzle, muzzle, muzzle. That is the next rule. Always keep the muzzle pointed in the safest direction possible. If you are downstairs in your house and there are people upstairs, up isn't the safest direction. If you are upstairs and people downstairs, down isn't the safest direction. We always see these things in the movies like, oh, okay, just always keep them pointed down or whatever. That's not the right way to think about it. So always be mindful of your muzzle. Always, always, always. Number 3, keep your finger off of the trigger. Keep it away from the trigger, up along the slide, out of the trigger guard completely. You should not be able to look through the trigger guard, that little window, and be able to see your finger in there at all.
I'll be back.
Phil is running.
He did.
I wish
He
I
did.
could get this thing
Dang,
up
I was
fast
on
enough.
that.
He
I
was
thought-
fast.
I wanted to record that.
And
He's fast.
so your trigger finger, the trigger is the only thing
Designed with the intended purpose.
designed to do that. Like the way you said
Making
that, to make the gun fire. The muzzle is the safest direction. So modern firearms are not supposed to fire unless
Nah.
you press the trigger. Okay.
Not hurt my
But the
knees.
muzzle is the most important, because if the mechanical thing fails, your muzzle is the biggest savior there.
A gun appeared. Boosh. Nailed it.
Okay.
But is that a gun?
So this is a start gun.
Lasers.
Okay. So if I can see your finger here, that's bad. If your finger wants to rest here, that's bad. This is so natural. Okay. Your hand does not typically look like this when you walk around with Windex bottles or whatever else. It just rests right here. I promise. Next time you pick up a Windex bottle, check it out. Okay. Soon enough, you'll walk around. This is Chelsea's favorite line. I love it. Your finger will stay up here just all by itself, and you will get in the habit of it. But you have to practice. Okay? You have to practice.
Give me this for a second. Just
My coffee's gone.
No coffee.
So, how many times
I've been shoved.
do you have you're working with somebody and their fingers here?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, hey, get your trigger finger straight, and you're like, it is.
It is.
Like, no, I want it up here. Oh no, okay. And then they shoot a little bit, and next time it's sitting right there again. You're like, no, get your trigger finger straight. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Up. This is what we want to see.
Okay. If you have a revolver, put it up on the cylinder. Keep it away from this guy, because if something startles you and you accidentally move your finger to the trigger, or you, again, sympathetic nerve response, there's all kinds of reasons to keep your finger off the freaking trigger. So now, when you come to a basic handgun class, if you're working with us for the first time, we are not going to bark at you if you put your finger on the trigger, but we will. Hey, let's take our finger off the trigger. Let's remember to take our finger off the trigger. We might tap your finger to get it to move up. If we start to work on your grip, we might grab your finger and pull it up here. We're not going to bark at you with your finger on the trigger, because we know it takes practice. The last thing we want to do is put you in a fight or flight brain mindset to where you're not thinking about anything. So if we ask you to take your finger off your trigger, say thank you, move on to the next step, and try to retain that skill.
I like
but you
that,
have
thank
to,
you.
Yes, you
That-
have to practice this.
That was something that Brian Hill hit really hard. If I bust you with a safety violation, essentially, if I remind you, if it's something egregious, you're done in a class, right? If it's something like that, like, hey, I'm talking to you and I want your trigger finger off the trigger.
What
right?
did you say?
Yeah. And I just remind you, hey, get your trigger finger straight. Don't say, I got it. Yeah, I know. Say thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's what we hear. Like, yeah.
Every time.
It's unloaded.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Every time.
We're gonna fight.
Every
We
time.
don't fight.
Aneurysm.
Ah! What
Oh,
happened?
God.
Jason Brown. Oh boy.
Oh, and gone.
Being in Being intentional and present in the moment you occupy is a super hard skill to acquire if you aren't already in the habit of being that way. Absolutely.
I agree.
I almost think that ability is a prerequisite to truly treat a firearm as if it were loaded. And I don't know how to truly impress that upon someone or recognize if they are capable. You have, yeah,
It's hard.
We struggle with this too. It's just, look, you have to, don't discredit human nature. Our attention spans are so much shorter now based off of this freaking thing right here in front of you. It has done us a huge disservice with our attention spans. And you got to work on it. You got to practice maintaining focus. If you start to lose, if you notice, I'm very much a hand talker, but not with this in it. I will talk to my students like this. If I'm going over the safety rules, this hand stays still. This one's like going a mile a minute. It takes practice to do this. So don't discredit that and practice, practice, practice. Wax on, wax off. Okay? Please. Please. Okay? The beatbox startled me.
You're welcome.
Oh gosh, I don't know where it went. Tape a laser pointer to your finger gun. Yeah, I like it. My eyes. I don't know where we're at now. Okay. Theatrically clear of the trigger guard. Theatrically,
Yes.
all the way up here. Well, won't my finger get pinched? No, because your finger's not on the trigger to make it fire. So keep your finger all the way up here. And I wasn't saying that to be rude. That is a common question. I get it. You're not processing everything. It's okay.
I don't understand. That's all right.
So, exaggerated so the people in the nosebleed section can tell. Absolutely. Keep that booger hooker off the bang switch.
That's what Vinny says something very similar when holstering. I say over-exaggerate that trigger finger
Same
being
thing.
straight. Just so you have the conscious thought of, God, I'm trying to stretch my finger out to make sure that it's off the trigger before I holster the gun. Over-exaggerate it. Make it a conscious thought with the trigger finger. And it sounds so simple. It is simple, but it's not.
Not simple.
It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Good morning, Martin. It's a skill that translates to other parts of life, like operating a chainsaw, or as Liz said, a Windex bottle. Absolutely. Topics, I have short fingers. Well,
You're welcome.
I don't know. Get extensions. Do better.
So where are we at? We're on the last one, right?
Rule number 4. Know your target and what's beyond. Now, these rules have been manipulated a lot. And we articulate them in different ways. I bet if you took a class from each one of us, we would say it just a little bit differently, but still the main concept. So with this in mind, know what you're shooting at. For one, defensively speaking, is it a justified situation? If you're out in the country shooting somewhere, what are you shooting at? Can you shoot at it? But know that bullets are meant to go through things. They will go through your target, likely, or you'll miss. They'll go off to the side of the target. But what if something is in front of your target? What if you're shooting at this target and everything's fine, and then a dog decides to walk in between you and your target? You are responsible for every bullet that leaves the end of your gun until it stops in something. So, it's got your signature on it, just like in forensics. They'll come back for you. Once it's left the end of your gun, you're responsible for it. One thing that Chelsea would say before, I loved it, because it kind of brings you out of your normal, like, shooting another person. But let's say you're out in the country shooting somewhere, and you're shooting at this target, everything's fine, and then a deer walks between your target or behind your target, and you shoot the deer, and it's July. Oh, that's illegal. Like, well, it's a deer. Nope, sorry. But it just kind of brings up the non-defensive nature of shooting and how you could still get in trouble like that. So just make sure that
it's your responsibility to be safe with the tool. It's your responsibility to teach those around you that are new to it.
And it's
to respect it and be safe with it.
Your responsibility to secure that tool that you purchased for you from people who are not supposed to have access to it. Because if they gain access to it and you left it unsecured, that's your fault.
That's your fault.
Not the tool's fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the case in this news story. Again, I briefly touched on it, but this dad lost his son, which is tragic, and we're not belittling that at all. He blames the tool, right? Rather than, he said that the gun went off and there was no magazine in the gun. Obviously, there was a round in the chamber. So if the manufacturer was responsible and had removed or had installed a magazine disconnect, his son would still be here. They were still playing with a loaded gun. And again, kids do stupid stuff. I think education could have gone a really, really, really long way to help stop that tragedy from happening. Installing a magazine disconnect in every gun is not going to stop that kind of stuff. Nope. Education won't.
Nope.
Kids are still going to do stupid stuff, even if they're educated.
That's
right?
why
They're still going to do stupid stuff. But we can substantially lessen that with good education.
I trust my 15-year-old with a gun.
Yep.
I do. But I still lock him up because he's still 15.
He's still a kid. He still does stupid stuff.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like I'm even more cautious to make sure that they're locked up well because he's 15 and he's can use his brain differently than my 5-year-old. So
I don't have kids with me, and I still lock them up.
Because
you have science.
You have guests over
Yes,
to your house.
I bring
right?
people into my house sometimes. I guess.
Why don't you ever invite me to your house? Do you hate me?
Well, that would be bad.
Notice how I didn't answer that.
That would be bad. We'd have too much fun.
That's funny.
What's Jason say?
If a firearm discharges in your possession, then consequences are attached to the bullet but belong to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. He's still a kid.
He is still a kid.
Only for
Very
you.
true. All right, I think that about does us for today. Anything you want to add?
Yeah. We bring the Leones back.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely bring the Leones back in. Come
yeah.
on back
Oh, yeah,
in.
the
Spin the wheel.
You guys have to spin the wheel.
Wait, what? Okay, we got to do the.
Oh yeah, we
12
do.
days
Got
of
to do.
Christmas.
So you do
12
it,
days
Liz.
Christmas.
Why do you make me do this?
Because you're bad at it. And you need to learn.
I need practice. Okay,
Why
here we
do you
go.
make me do this? 'Cause
All
you're
right.
bad at it.
So I gotta look at the camera while I'm walking. I'm walking that way.
Frankie, move.
Run. Okay, hold on. I don't know why you want to look at me while I'm walking. Hey, there's Frankie. Hello. Okay, let's turn this little guy. Uh-oh, Vincent. Let's boop.
Nailed it.
I think I did it. Look, what day is it? The 23rd. Oh my gosh, it's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
You get an extra $10 on every $50 gift card. The comments are in my way and I can't read it.
You don't have to look through the camera. You can look past the camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a red dot.
Close one eye.
You should see what happens when I try to film my son's wrestling match and I'm trying to watch at the same time. It's bad. It's bad.
I know.
All kinds of.
I
Okay.
used to edit
All right, we're
videos
back.
of people like that.
Workman says these live broadcasts are becoming the Liz show. I don't know about all that. You don't want that, trust me. Okay, I did it.
Good job. So tomorrow you've got all the sales. Now this is for members. For members only. Tomorrow you got all the sales.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to spin the wheel?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Peggy wants to spin the wheel.
Okay, Miss Peggy. All right, let's go. We're going to follow. If you missed the beginning of the show, we have Vinny's mom, Miss Peggy Leone, and we have Vinny's brother back here. Oh, I thought he was getting ready to fall over. We got Frankie over
You're
here.
imagining.
No, I was just saying.
All right.
Okay. Oh, the price is right.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
Whoa.
I guess you got moved to St. Louis.
Dang, you get a half off a membership. Yep, you're moving to St. Louis.
Jackpot.
So unfortunate.
All right, Frankie, your turn.
Okay, Frankie's going to spin now too.
I really hope you get a private lesson.
I want the
Wait,
squirt gun.
does that mean I get a private lesson with you guys? Because
You'd have to do one with Vinny.
All right, big money.
Big money. Get Grinched. Oh, so close. 20% off ammo.
I mean, that's still a pretty good deal.
That's a great deal.
Okay, all right. Let's go wrap this thing up.
Okay.
I really want to just hand this over to Liz and let her finish it out just because.
No.
All right. So,
Are we
everybody
gonna,
left me. Come on in.
we gotta
I
do
need
it.
to hold.
Should we do an awkward pause with all of us?
Yes, we got to do an awkward pause. Everybody. You got to get closer.
Okay.
I'm trying to get.
Come on, Peggy.
Get in.
I'm on the wrong side. It's okay. I'll let you have my
everybody,
side.
Oh, you're on the
Okay. If you guys need something, come see us. 14803 Manchester Road in beautiful Baldwin, Missouri. 10 to 8, Monday through Friday. Saturday, 9 to 6. Sunday, 10 to 6. We are closing early tomorrow. We close at 4. We are not open on Christmas Day. I'm going to keep talking just so Liz's arm gets tired. You guys are awesome. If you need something, come see us.
Hold on. Put the Grinch
Oh, I need my
glasses
Grinch glasses.
Nailed it.
All right.
Okay.
No hat and Grinch glasses.
Oh my God.
I don't even know where I am anymore. You guys stay safe, be nice to one another. We'll catch you soon. Later!
Toodles.